All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about what I honestly think is the single most critical engine in any warehouse, the inbound process. If you get this right, everything else just flows. But if you get it wrong, well, you're pretty much just organizing chaos.
So, we're going to break this down into 4 key stages. We'll start with the work that happens way before a truck even shows up, and we'll take it all the way to the end, to how we intelligently put those goods away on the shelf. So, let me just ask you this. When you think about the most powerful, most important part of your operation, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Is it the forklifts? The big conveyor systems? Yeah, it's actually none of those. It's the receiving process. Think about it. Every single piece of data about your inventory, what you have, where it is, how much it's worth, it all starts right here. The accuracy of your entire operation is literally born at the receiving dock.
Okay, let's get into the first part. A truly great receiving process doesn't start when you hear a truck backing up. No, it starts with data. Long before that truck is even in your yard, the digital groundwork has to be laid.
And the main player here is something called the Advanced Shipping Notice, or as you'll always hear it, the ASN. Just think of it like a super detailed digital packing slip that your supplier sends you ahead of time. It tells you exactly what's coming, how it's packed, and when it's supposed to get there.
And this is why it's such a game changer. The ASN transforms your dock from being reactive to being proactive, right? Instead of just waiting around to see what shows up, you can actually plan your labor, clear dock space, and even get your warehouse system ready to go. It's the difference between flying blind and having a full instrument panel.
So the digital handshake is done. Now for the physical one. This is the moment the truck finally pulls up to your dock.
And this whole stage is all about security and verification. Before a single door is opened, there's a really strict protocol. The driver checks in, the paperwork is matched against what you're expecting, and the trailer itself gets a once-over. But honestly, the most critical step is checking that trailer seal.
See, the number on this physical seal has to match the number on the bill of lading. That's the legal document for the whole shipment. If that seal is broken, or if it's missing, or if the numbers don't match up, the whole shipment gets flagged. It's a really simple but incredibly powerful way to make sure that load hasn't been tampered with.
Okay, the seal is verified, the doors are open, and now we are at the moment of truth. This is where we officially receive the goods and turn a physical shipment into digital inventory. And we do this by creating something called a goods receipt note, or a GRN. This thing is way more than just a piece of paper. It's the official internal record that connects your purchase order to your live inventory. It's basically the birth certificate for your stock.
The process itself is super methodical. You unload, you do a visual inspection, and then you start scanning. Every barcode you scan is a check against that ASN we talked about. If anything is off, too many, too few, damaged items, it gets recorded right then and there. And once it's all verified, the GRN is generated and bam, your warehouse management system knows that stock is officially in the building and ready to go.
So how accurate does this process need to be? Well, the industry benchmark for inbound order accuracy is over 98%. And that sounds pretty good, right? I mean, a 2% error rate seems manageable.
But what about the industries where there is absolutely zero margin for error? What happens when a tiny little discrepancy isn't just a money problem, but a potential risk to someone's life?
This is the day-to-day reality in pharmaceutical logistics. The fight against counterfeit drugs is a huge global challenge, and the supply chain, that's the front line. A single incorrect or, worse, fraudulent product getting into the system can have devastating consequences. You see, for years, products were just tracked by batch or by lot. But now, regulations like the Drug Supply Chain Security Act, the DSCSA, have forced a massive leap forward to what's called unit-level serialization. This means we're not just tracking a case of product anymore, we're tracking every single bottle inside it. This lets companies do surgical recalls instead of massive wasteful ones. And it's why, in this industry, the accuracy target isn't 98%, it's a discrepancy rate of less than 0.5%. That kind of precision, it's just not negotiable.
So let's move on to the final step of this whole inbound journey, deciding where to actually store the goods we've so carefully received. And this is not random, it's all driven by some really smart logic.
The two most common strategies are FIFO and FIFO. FIFO, first in, first out, is pretty simple. You sell the oldest stuff first. It's great for things that don't expire, like electronics. But for anything with a shelf life, you need FIFO, first expired, first out. With FIFO, the system prioritizes picking the items that are going to expire the soonest, no matter when they showed up. This is absolutely critical for food and pharma to cut down on waste and keep products safe.
So how do you manage all this at scale? Well, your warehouse management system is basically your co-pilot. During receiving, it grabs the arrival and expiration dates. Then its algorithms figure out the absolute perfect spot for it and guide the operator right to it. The system doesn't just suggest, it enforces the logic, making sure the right product is in the right place, all ready for the right picking strategy later.
So, here's the real takeaway. From that first digital ASN all the way to the final put-away scan, a precise, disciplined inbound process is the bedrock of your entire operation. It's what dictates your inventory accuracy, your efficiency, and at the end of the day, your profitability.
Now that we've got our inventory perfectly received and stored away, we're ready for the next big step. And it just so happens to be the single most expensive and labor-intensive thing you do in the entire building: order picking. We're going to break that whole thing down next time. See you then.